Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Heather. You've probably stumbled across this channel because you're searching how to study or prepare for the PTCE, which stands for the Pharmacy Technician Certification Exam. Lucky for you, I have some tips and pointers. Let's get started. First things first, it's 2020 and there is a new guideline for the PTCE. So you have a few options. You can either have worked in a pharmacy setting for, I think it's at least 6 months, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure it's at least 6 months, or have been through a pharmacy technician accredited program. So if you've done one of those two things, you're ready to go take the PTCE. There's a new study guide outline, and I have that right here. I hope you guys can see that. Instead of the original 9, I think, categories, it is now divided up into 4 categories. Then you have a couple of options. During this time, some testing centers are still closed, such as mine in my state. My testing center was closed. The closest one to take it was about an hour away. I was not going to drive an hour away. Number 2, you can take it online, considering none of my closest test centers were available. So I took it online. One of the biggest things that I suggest when taking your exam online is going to take your exam later in the day. Not necessarily late in the evening. I took mine about 11 and that worked out perfect for me because I was able to get home from work. As I work night shift, I was able to get home from work. I was able to take some time out to rest, so I wasn't exhausted while taking this exam. That was my biggest fear, is I was like, I'm gonna have no time to sleep, I'm gonna have no time to study, and I'm gonna be exhausted. So I placed my test late enough where I would have time to rest, and I would also have at least an hour to study. I suggest you take at least an hour before your exam to study, because the last thing you want to do is be going through your notes, flipping through your notes, and trying to cram all this extra information right before your exam. That's not going to help you out. So take some proper amount of time to study. Beginning the exam. So when you log in to begin the exam, you're going to log into PTCE like you normally would. Go to schedule, or I think it's my exam schedule. Click on my exam schedule and it will have posted up top your exam schedule, what time you're supposed to take it, and you can actually click begin exam. So it's going to take you to a website that's called OneView. You are going to have to download this website. You're going to have to download it, okay? Once you have downloaded OneView, you're going to go through a couple of prompts. So one of the first things is you need to, before even beginning your prompts, you need to make for sure you know where you're going to take your exam, have all your ID available, and put your phone on silent. I did not do this. I regret it terribly. Continuing. So once you start doing your prompts, it's going to give you a little bit of information. It's going to ask you for your name, just some basic information. So you're going to enter all that in, and then it's going to ask you to take a picture of yourself. So take a picture of yourself. I used my phone and I did my exam on my laptop. That is an option. You can use your phone to do all the registering and everything like that. So I registered online and then took all the photos and stuff with my phone. So you take a photo of yourself, and once that's submitted and that's accepted, you'll go to step 2. Step 2 is take a photo of your ID. You will have to take a photo of the front and the back. So make for sure you're in a well-lit place so you can see all of your information on your driver's license or passport. Or there are like multiple other things you can use as an ID. It has to have your name on it, and it has to have your birth date on it. So after you do that, you're going to submit that in, and then they'll prompt you to step 3. So step 3 was a little weird, I thought. Like, I get it, but I still thought it was a little weird. So make for sure you are in the place that you're going to take your exam. You're going to sit down in your seat and you're going to take a photo in front of you. So everything that is in front of you, that's what you're going to take a picture of. Then you're going to turn to your left and you're going to take a picture of whatever is on your left. Then you're going to turn to your right. You're going to take a photo of whatever is on your right. And this is going to display in like 4 photos on the screen while you're downloading it. So you'll have photo number 1 is the photo in front of you. Photo number 2 is going to be the photo to your left. Photo 3 to your right. And photo 4 is to your back. What I did for this is I actually stood up and I got in front of my computer and I took a photo from the back of my computer to the back wall, showing where I was sitting. That's what I did. I mean, they accepted it, so I want to assume that was correct. And then you're gonna want to read over the policies very carefully. Some of these sounded really weird and I didn't understand why you couldn't do these things. Like, I get not looking around the room, but you couldn't even touch your face. And if you're like me, when I get nervous or when I'm thinking about something, I touch my face. I'm like this, you know, I touch my face. It's inevitable. I do it. I'm sorry. Okay? It's an awkward thing. All right? Continuing on. After all of that is done with, you can begin your exam. So there are 4 things you should know. When you start your exam, you will see a square at the top of your exam, and it's actually recording you. It's yourself being recorded while you're taking the exam. To the far left, you're going to have a chat symbol, and it'll even say chat next to it. That is your live proctor. They are listening to you, they are watching you, and they are looking for signs of you cheating. So I was nervous about this. Like, I kept my hands like this, like on my thing the whole time. I did not move. I was so nervous that like one move was going to like they were going to terminate my test immediately. I was so nervous. So I didn't use the chat option. You can, if you have a question or whatever, you can use that chat option. You can ask questions. Like I said, I didn't use it, so I really don't know how it works. Sorry. Beside the chat button, excuse me. Beside the chat button, there is an option that says whiteboard, and because you can't have any paper, you can't have any notebooks, you can have nothing to write on. You have to use this whiteboard app. I also didn't use that. I'm imagining that it's some sort of like, when I think of it, I think of like the paint option you can use on your computer where you just kind of doodle around. That's what I think of. I'm not quite sure what you would use it for. I guess if you need to do some math. But there's a calculator. There's a calculator option right beside of that. There was a point in my test where I was using my calculator and the chat popped up and it was like, "This is Scott, your live proctor." I'm like, oh, did I do something wrong? It came up for like 2 seconds and then went away. So I don't know. I don't know if he did that by accident because I didn't click on it. But it kind of made me nervous because I was looking like over here on my screen at my calculator. So I don't know if he thought maybe I was looking, because I was sitting next to some windows. So I don't know if maybe he thought that I was looking out the window, but that was nerve-wracking. Number 2. Yeah, I didn't turn my phone off. But it didn't say that I had turned my phone off. It did say, if you have your phone, put it, within arm's reach. Like, you can't, reach for it. So I stuck mine behind my computer and I forgot to turn the ring off. So halfway through my test, somebody texts me. I thought I was gonna fail. I thought they were gonna terminate my test. I'm like, this is it. I am done. They are gonna terminate my test. This is it. This is it for me. I'm done. I was scared. So on my phone, I have a 2-minute reminder, which I don't even think it's 2 minutes. It's more like 5 seconds. But I have a reminder on my phone that if I don't answer a text or a phone call, if I don't acknowledge that I've seen it, then it goes off again. So whatever question I was on, I read that question like 5 times. I knew the answer, but I read it 5 times. I read that question 5 times while my phone went off. I was so nervous. But regardless of that, the exam wasn't very difficult. It was not as hard as I thought it was going to be. I studied a lot more than I feel like was on the exam. I really studied a lot. I studied a ton of math. I studied a ton of therapeutic equivalencies, and I didn't have any of those questions on my exam. So take that with a grain of salt. Please, don't think that you're not going to have any, because every test is different. I don't want you to think you don't have to study it. I would do study it. I just wouldn't study it so you understand it. Study it so that if you get a question, you could solve it. I wouldn't, I would not go extreme and do, a ton of math. I would just do the problem. If you know it, good. Move on to what you don't know. What I'm saying is, I looked at this and I thought, holy crap. I don't know half of these, and I have worked in pharmacy for 10 years. Like, I don't know what therapeutic equivalencies are. I work in a hospital. My pharmacist does that, not me. I don't look on a patient's profile and say, oh, look, they're getting the same drugs. That's not something that I do. And it probably sounds terrible. As far as working in a hospital, I would know even if I came across it. I mean, I would now, but I really went in depth on that too. And I didn't use any books. I did order a book that wasn't even going to be here on time. So I didn't even use it. There's an app called Pocket Prep. I used that. That worked out really well. It's a free app. You can actually purchase like the full-on version app, but they had a free part that I just used. I felt like it covered enough too. I used that. Go on YouTube. Like, YouTube has an enormous amount of information, and there's actually someone in here specific. I think it's called LW School. I think I'll look that up. She actually posted, she broke down actually one of the books. She broke them down to like sections. I took a ton of notes, like a ton. Okay. I studied the first 100 drugs. I did not do the first 200. I did the first 100. Don't worry about it. If you don't know the 200, it's fine. It's okay. Just do the 100. Know what OBRA 90 is. Know your sound-alike, look-alike medications. Know Clark's rule and Young's rule. I wrote down everything. I wrote down so much information, and I kind of feel I was a little disappointed at my exam because I felt like I studied so much information that wasn't even on my exam. Oh well. I did it and I passed. Good luck to you if you pass. If you do not, it is okay. I took my exam back in 2016 for the very first time and I failed. So please don't let failure keep you from thinking that you are good enough, because you are. You are good enough. You can do this. Take your time. Study. Ask questions. Find those of us on YouTube who have taken the exam before, and we will help you out, okay? I promise. If you guys have any questions, any comments, concerns, put them below. Like this video and subscribe. Like I said, it's my first YouTube video and this is not at all how I expected this to go, but oh well, it is what it is. But I hope you guys have a great week ahead, okay? Have a great week. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys later.